February 3rd, 1885. The town of Stone's Crossing had always been a quiet place, a settlement of dust and timber, where cattle grazed and the rhythm of life was steady as the toll of a church bell. But when the first reports came of beasts clawing their way out of the old abandoned well at the edge of town, attacking townsfolk, scattering herds, leaving claw marks on doors, the sheriff knew he could not face such horrors alone. And so he sent word to the Hale Gang, a band of hardy investigators led by a charismatic nun named Sister Hale. They went to work with watchful eyes and a readiness to dig beneath the surface of the town's troubles, looking to uncover the mystery. Their search began within Stone's Crossing itself, questioning frightened townspeople, examining the well's crumbling stones, and tracing the paths of cattle driven mad with terror. Yet the answers lay not in the heart of town, but beyond its borders. Venturing outward, the Hale Gang discovered the scars of a recent landslide along the rocky outskirts. Earth and stone had sealed the mouth of a cave, trapping something within. Desperate to escape, the creatures had clawed their way through the dark, tunneling until they found the abandoned well, a forgotten shaft that became their passage into Stone's Crossing. The mystery was laid bare. The beasts were not born of the well, but driven into it, forced to rise from its depths by circumstance and hunger. Now, with the truth uncovered, the Hale Gang stood between the town and the nightmare that had crawled up from beneath its feet. After several hours of back-breaking labor, the posse managed to dig out part of the cave entrance, and they ventured into the darkness, vowing to kill the beasts and make the town safe again.
Hello everyone, this is Keith from the Solo Gamers Club. Thanks for joining me at my channel. Tonight we're going to continue on with our playthrough of Alone in the Shadows of Brimstone. This is Season 6, and this episode is entitled The Well, Part 2. Now I noticed in the previous video I failed to go over some of the hero's special abilities, so we'll take a quick look at those before we get started. We'll start with Sister Hale. Now she has Holy Woman. You may not use guns. Starts with 1 blessing sermon and 1 judgment sermon. She also has Scourge of the Dead. She's +1 damage on all of her attacks against undead enemies. She begins with that holy book, the blessings sermon, and then a random blessing and judgment. We've gone over those. But what's going to happen is she has a faith level of 3. So she's going to have 3 faith tokens that she can use at the start of each of her activations to use those different sermons. And she can use those at pretty much at any time. One of them is that faith healing. And we have cure and a judgment called ruin. Next, we've got the wandering samurai Hana Okabe. She has the Samurai Battle Tactics ability. She starts with 2 random Wanderer Samurai Battle Tactics. And she can use those once per turn. And that's where her Fury tokens are going to come into place. She has Battle Fury. Anytime she does 1 or more wounds to an enemy with a combat hit, she gains a Fury token. And then we can use those Fury tokens to activate those battle tactics. Now she also has Code of Honor. She cannot use guns or explosives, and she cannot voluntarily flee from the adventure, though the rest of the hero posse may flee without her. So that's something we're going to have to keep in the back of our minds. And finally we have the gunslinger Silas Barrow. He has the special ability Quick and the Dead. He's going to have that 6-shooter template, and he'll start the game fully loaded with 6 Deadeye shot bullets. And those are going to give him the ability to spend those and gain +2 to damage. Alright, we're ready to begin the mission. Now I've got a new sets of dice that I'm going to be using, and I have completely shuffled every deck in the game. I've run it through my card shuffler multiple times, so I'm doing everything that I can to get us a nice random playthrough, and I hope that we can get a good start to this season. And we're going to begin with Holding Back the Darkness. All right, we've rolled a 6, and that's a failure, and chart will move up 1 space. Now our players will activate in order, and we're going to begin with the gunslinger. Silas will roll for movement. Okay, he's rolled a 5, so he's going to move ahead 5 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And I've got a new tactic here. I think what we're going to do is I'm going to try scavenging earlier in the campaign to kind of build up our XP, and maybe we can get some items from this, and maybe that will get us to our level 2 positions a little quicker. Now our best defensive player is Hana Okabe. She has a defense level of 3+, and there's a big difference between a 3+ and a 5+ defense. So I'm going to have her hopefully take point, and I'm hoping that her defense will be a big benefit to us in preserving the health of the posse. So we're going to try a scavenge roll for Silas Barrow. Okay, that's a cocked die. We'll re-roll that. Okay, he has no successes. That'll bring his turn to a close. We'll move on to Hana Okabe. Okay, here's her movement roll. She's rolled a 5 as well, so she'll move ahead 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And she's also going to scavenge. She has no successes. That'll bring her turn to a close. We'll move on to Sister Hale. All right, Sister Hale will make a move, roll for movement. And she rolls a 5 as well. So we'll have her move up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right, we'll have her do a scavenge roll. She has 1 6, so we can draw a scavenge card. All right, so we'll place a scavenge marker in that room, and then we are going to draw our scavenge card. We'll give that deck a cut, and we'll see what we get. Now we're able to scavenge up to, with a party of 3, we can scavenge twice in each room. That's part of the revised rules. So here is her scavenge card. This time we've got, oh, there it is, Hideous Discovery. 10 XP. Poking around in the shadows, you see something that chills you to the bone. You quickly return to the group, refusing to speak of what you found. Take 3 horror hits that do 2 sanity damage each. All right, well, Sister Hale has a willpower of 3. So she's going to be able to roll and see if we can block these horror hits. Here's her roll. Well, she's blocked 1 of them, so that means she's going to take 4 sanity damage. So we've marked Sister Hale with 4 sanity damage out of her 11 total sanity. And that's going to bring the round to an end, and we'll get started on another Hold Back the Darkness roll. That time we've rolled a 9, so we're good to go. All right, and now we will activate in order, beginning with Silas. We'll have him roll for movement. He rolls a 6. Okay, he's going to move forward 1 space, and we're going to have him take a look down the path and see what he finds. And he comes across a spider's lair. All right, we'll get that out and update the map. All right, we've adjusted our map. We're going to place an exploration token in that chamber, and this one has an advanced encounter. Now what I've decided to do is we're going to roll, whenever these advanced encounters come up, we're going to roll a die, and on a 1, 2, or 3, the encounter will be added. 4, 5, or 6, it will not. So we'll make a roll for that. The roll is a 4, so we will not have the void layer encounter. All right, that's going to complete Silas Barrow's activation. We'll move on to Hana Okabe. We'll have her roll for movement. And she rolls a 5. All right. I'm going to move her ahead 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to be a little bit more aggressive. All right, that's going to complete her activation. We'll move on to Sister Hale. We'll have her roll for movement. She rolls a 2, so I'll have her move 1 and 2. All right. Sister Hale is going to take advantage of the 3 faith tokens that she has. She's going to spend 1 faith token, and she's going to play the blessing Cure. This Cure blessing has a casting level of 9+, range of 6. Choose 1 hero within range, including yourself. That hero may remove any status effect markers, such as poison, affecting them, or may heal D3 sanity. So she's going to try to cast that. We get these faith tokens back at the start of every one of her activations. So we'll give it a shot. We're looking for a 9+. She rolled a 7, so that is ineffective. Now, even though we failed, we can spend additional faith tokens to add 1 to the results, even after we've rolled the dice. So we've got a total of 7. I'm going to add in 2 extra faith tokens, bringing the total up to 9, and then we have successfully cast the Cure blessing. That's going to allow her to heal D3 sanity. So we'll have her roll a D3, and she can heal that much sanity loss. She rolled a 2, so we'll heal 2 points from Sister Hale. She's at 2 sanity of 11 right now. And incidentally, when our gunslinger looked through the door, he earned 5 victory points, or 5 XP for that as well. Now incidentally, those sermons can be cast at any time unless they say on the sermon that it must be done prior to moving or something like that. So Sister Hale still has the ability to scavenge if we choose to want to have her do that, and I think we will. We'll have her scavenge she's on the break point, so she's technically in both rooms. We're not allowed to scavenge in a room with a exploration token that hasn't been resolved, but we can scavenge in this room, and she'll do that. She has no success, so that's going to bring our round to a close, and now we're going to go into our exploration phase, and we'll see what this token is all about. And we'll reveal the exploration token. We've got 2 doors and 2 encounters. All right, we'll find out of the 3 doors which one is capped. So we'll make a roll and compare that with the card. Result is a 6, so this is going to be capped. The other 2 will be doors. All right, we've placed 2 doors, 2 doorways, and we're going to have to resolve 2 encounters. So I've drawn 2 random encounter cards, and we're going to shuffle these and play them out as they come. Now, in the normal rules, you're able to look at them and resolve them in the order that you wish, but I like to do it this way. It's a little bit more exciting for myself as I'm doing the playthrough. So we'll take a look at this first card. First encounter is Warning from the Grave. Warning from the Grave. Encounter active puzzle. A skeletal figure slumped against the passage wall seems to have scratched a warning into the stone. We have to choose a character to make a Cunning 5+ test. And the best cunning we've got in the party is Silas, the gunslinger. He has a Cunning of 4. So we're going to get 4 dice out and see if we can pass this. And here's the roll. And he's done it. He's got a 5 and a 6. It says, if successful, gain 25 XP and take this card. Discard this card at any time during the adventure to give a hero 3 extra dice on a skill test, or to give all heroes +3 initiative for the first turn of a fight. All right, that is great. So we'll give that card to Silas Barrow, and we'll keep that for use during the campaign. That's great. All right, now our next encounter. From my cold, dead hands, encounter, active, outlaw, death. A dead outlaw sits on the floor here, propped against the far wall. In one hand, he holds a tattered satchel, in the other, a 6-shooter aimed into the room. A twisted smile stretched across his decayed skull face. And we have to make a choice. We can take the satchel from his hand, and that would be a strength 6+ test. If successful, you wrench the satchel from his cold, dead hands. Draw 3 loot cards to see what's inside. If any ones are rolled during the test, the dead outlaw has his revenge. His body, rigged with dynamite, explodes. Every hero immediately takes D6 wounds, ignoring defense, for each one that is rolled. Wow. Otherwise, we can let the dead lay, no effect. Well, that is a tough decision. It would be nice to draw 3 loot cards, I'll tell you. But if any ones are rolled during the test, the outlaw has his revenge. And his body is rigged with dynamite and will explode. Every hero will take D6 wounds, ignoring defense, for each one rolled. Well, the characters with strength would be Hannah and Sister Hale. Both of them have a strength of 3. And each of them do have a grit token. Well, Sister Hale has a health of 12. And she does have her faith that you can use the faith healing with in the event of a problem. So this is a tough one. My better instincts tell me not to do it, but I'm going to try it. So Sister Hale is going to attempt the strength 6+ test. She has a strength of 3. And we'll see if we can pass this. Okay, here is the roll. She's got 2 6s and no 1s. That is awesome. She's done it. All right, so she's going to be able to draw 3 loot cards. This is awesome. We'll shuffle up our loot deck and see what we've got. All right, the first loot card. She gains, this could come in handy. Draw a gear card. All right, and it's worth 20 XP. We'll have her draw a gear card, and she gains Badlands Adventure Gear. This card has 1 bandage, 1 whiskey, and 1 tonic token. At the start of every adventure, refill the tokens on this card for free. These tokens may not be removed except to use. It has 2 anvils of weight, and it's worth $1,250, and we're going to give that to Sister Hale. That is great. All right. That puts her total weight up right now to a total of 3 out of 8. We'll get our next loot card now. And that is gold bars, $250 in cash and 20 XP. So far, Sister Hale has 250 in cash and 50 XP. All right, here is the third loot card. And we've got a sack of gold dust, $100 and 20 XP. That is outstanding. All right, so we have placed a bandage, tonic and whiskey on the Badlands Adventure gear for Sister Hale. And now we're ready to begin our next round. We'll start with a Hold Back the Darkness roll. And here's the roll. The roll is a 9, so we are good. That is great. Now we'll start with our activations, beginning with Silas Barrow. He'll roll for movement. And he rolls a 5. And I think we're going to go to the north. So I'm going to have him move 1, 2, 3, and 4. He's going to take a look down the passage. That'll earn him 5 XP. That Silas is 35. He has 35 XP right now. He draws the map card, a rail split. All right, we'll update the map. All right, we'll place an exploration token in the room with the rail split. That's going to complete Barrow's activation. We'll move on to Hana Okabe. All right, she's going to make a roll for movement. And she rolls a 1. All right, so that's going to get her a grit token. So she earns her second grit token, and she's going to move 1 towards the direction of the rail split. Next up is Sister Hale. She is going to gain her 3 faith tokens back, and she's going to roll for movement. She rolls a 5, and I think we'll have her move 1, 2, 3, and that's as far as she's going to go. Sister Hale is going to cast her Cure Blessing. She's going to spend 1 of her faith tokens, and we'll try the casting roll. Need a 9 or better. She rolls a 7. Well, we're going to spend the additional 2 faith to bring that total up to 9, and we're successful. And she'll be able to heal D3 sanity. And here's her D3. She rolls a 2, and that is going to completely heal her of the sanity damage she took earlier. So all of the characters now are fully healed. That'll move us to the end of the round, and we'll see what's behind that exploration token. And that exploration token is 1 door and an attack. So we'll roll a d6 and find out where the door is. Result is a 2, and the door is going to be to the west. We'll update the map. Now we're going to consult the Beasts table from the Well Special Mission. And we're going to be rolling a d6 and checking the medium threat column. That will determine what we're going to be facing in this first attack. Here is the roll. The result is a 4, and that's going to be 6 tentacles. All right, we'll lay those out. All right, 6 writhing tentacles are spotted at the back of the chamber. Let's take a look at these tentacles. They have an initiative of 2. They're medium size. Special ability is Smash. Tentacles 2-hit rolls of 6 will ignore a hero's defense. They have a move of 6, escape 4+. They hit 4+ on melee. They have 3 combat, 3 damage, defense of 2, and 4 health. Let's take a look at the initiative track. All right, Silas has an initiative of 6, the Samurai 5, Tentacles at 2, and Sister Hale at 2. But we're going to play this card that we garnered earlier in the mission, Warning from the Grave. It says here we can discard the card at any time during the adventure to give a hero's 3 extra dice on a skill test, or give all heroes +3 initiative for the first turn of a fight. And that's what we're going to do. So we will automatically increase our initiative levels by 3 for all of our characters. And that means we're going to be able to act first. So that was a great card that will be discarded now. And we're going to begin by holding back the darkness for this first round of combat. And here's our hold back the darkness roll. And we have a depth event. We rolled double 4s. And the depth event reads, falling rubble. The rocky ceiling of the mine shaft is unstable, prone to collapse. Each hero in the mines immediately takes d6 hits. Okay. So we'll begin with our gunslinger, Silas Barrow. We'll see how many hits he takes from the falling rubble. He's going to take 1. All right, so he can defend that. His defense level is a 5+. So we'll have him roll a die. See if he can defend that. He rolls a 6, so he has successfully managed to cover himself from the falling rubble. We'll check Hana Okabe. Okay, she's going to take 2 hits. So we'll have her roll 2 dice, and she defends at a 3+. She's going to defend 1, and she will take 1 point of damage from the falling rubble. So she's at 1 of 11 health. Finally, we'll see how many hits the good sister will take. She's going to take 3. Okay, so she has a defense level of 5+. So she'll be rolling 3 dice for her defense. And she's managed to block none of those. So she's going to be taking a total of 3 damage. So she's presently at 3 wounds out of 12. And we'll begin our activations, and we'll start with Silas Barrow. He'll roll for movement. He gets a 1. It's going to give him 1 grit token. Moves his grit up to 2. He's going to move forward 1 space. Then he's going to open up with his pistol. Now he has a special ability called pistol fanning. Once per turn, use 1 grit to double the number of shots you get with a single-handed gun for 1 attack. That's what he's going to do. So he's going to spend 1 of his grit, and that will allow him to double the number of shots of that pistol. It's going to give him 4 shots. And we'll have him roll for his ranged attack. He hits on a 3+ for ranged attack. Here's the roll. All right, he's got 4 hits. 4 hits. One of them is a critical hit, which is great. All right. So let's apply these hits to the targets. His pistol has a range of 6. All right, we're going to apply the critical hit to that tentacle. It's going to allow us now to do d6 damage. And this thing is not going to have any defense. It has a health of 4. He rolls a 2, so he's done 2 damage. He's going to spend 1 of his Deadeye shots to increase the damage by 2. And that's going to be enough to kill that first tentacle. That is great, and that is going to earn Silas a total of 30 XP. All right, next he's going to apply this normal hit to that tentacle. And it's going to do d6 damage. The tentacle has a defense of 2, so we'll be lowering the value of this roll by 2. He rolls a 4. So he's done a total of 2 points of damage. I think he's going to spend another 1 of his Deadeye shots to increase that total to 4. And that is going to kill the tentacle, earning him another 30 XP. All right, we've got 2 more hits left to resolve. Let's get this other stuff out of the way. And he's going to apply Next hit to this tentacle here. Range of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. No problem. Okay, here is the damage roll. -2 for defense. He rolls a 5. That's going to inflict 3 wounds on that creature. So we'll mark the tentacle with 3 wounds. He's got one last hit left, and I think he's going to use that against that tentacle there. We'll roll for damage. -2. He rolls a 6. -2 is 4, and that's sufficient to kill the tentacle, earning him another 30 XP. All right, next to activate is Hana Okabe. Here's her movement roll. She rolls a 3. All right. Well, I think I'm going to have her just move up 2 spaces. We'll have a cordon here. That's going to bring her activation to a close. Next up is Sister Hale. We'll have her roll for movement. She rolls a 3, and we'll have her just move up and back of Silas. She's going to gain her 3 faith tokens back. She's going to spend 1 of those faith tokens, and she's going to enact her faith healing. That has a casting level of 6+. So we'll have her roll 2 dice. See if she can cast faith healing. She's got a 7, so that's good. She's successfully cast faith healing. That says that she can heal D3 wounds from herself or an adjacent hero. I think she's going to apply that to herself. She has 3 wounds right now. Here's the roll. She rolls a 1, so she'll heal 1 of those wounds, moving her to a level of 2 wounds out of 12. Now she still has 2 faith tokens left, and that is enough to cast Ruin if she chooses. That's a judgment. And I think she's going to try it. She's going to spend 2 faith tokens, and she's going to cast a judgment. And that's called Ruin. Has a casting level of 9+. Now this is one of those dangerous spells. So if we roll doubles on this casting roll, it's going to backfire on her. But it says choose 1 enemy model on your map tile that just took 1 or more wounds. That model immediately takes a single hit that does a number of wounds equal to its defense value, ignoring defense. So she's going to try to cast that on that wounded tentacle in the corner. Now we need a 9. Now she has a special ability that allows her to, she's Firebrand. Once per turn, when performing a judgment sermon, she can re-roll 1 of the casting dice. Okay, here is her casting attempt. She's rolled a 9. She is successful. The judgment goes through, and that creature is going to take a hit. It's going to do a number of wounds equal to its defense. Its defense is 2. It's going to take 2 wounds, and she's going to kill that tentacle, and that's going to earn her 30 XP. And now the tentacles will activate. They have a movement of 6. All right. So we'll start with the closest one. 1, 2, 3. And this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so we have got 1 tentacle attacking Silas and another one attacking Hana. We'll start with the attack on Silas. Creature has a combat level of 3. Here is the roll. Creature has done 1 hit, and that is a smash against him. All right. So, we'll see if he can defend against this. He has a defense level of 5+. He failed. So the creature is going to cause 3 damage. It's going to ignore, he ignores his defense. We didn't even get a defense roll. So Silas is going to take 3 wounds. So Silas is at 3 of 10 health. Now we're going to resolve the strike against Hana. That creature has done no hits. That is awesome. That is going to bring the round to a close. Now we're going to readjust our initiative levels, and we'll put those back to the normal levels. Our gunslinger will be at 6, Hana will be at 5, and Sister Hale will be at a 2. The tentacles will be going ahead of her, though. They went on ties. We're going to start with a hold back the darkness roll. The result is a 6. We failed, and that's going to move up the horror level up to 2, and that is going to set off a darkness card. That darkness card is revealed to be demonic force. Darkness boost demon. All demon enemies are now +1 combat remains in play. Well, the tentacles are void keyword, so this will not affect us unless demonic enemies come on the board by some other mechanism, so we'll leave that out. Now we're going to start our activations beginning with Silas. He's going to roll for movement. He rolls a 5. All right. He has a 5. Let's see if he can escape from the clutches of the tentacles. His escape roll would be a 4+. He failed, so he can't move. He'll have to stay where he is, and he's going to open up with his pistol. His pistol gives him 2 shots, and he hits on a 3+ for ranged. Here is the pistol shots. He's done 1 hit. All right. We're going to apply that to the tentacle in front of him. Tentacle has a defense of 2. Here's the attack roll. He rolls a 6. Unbelievable. 6 minus 2 is 4. And he's killed another tentacle. Awesome. That's going to earn him another 30 XP. That is outstanding shooting from our gunslinger. Okay, we're going to move on now to Hana Okabe. We'll have her roll for movement. She rolls a 3, so she's got 3 movement points. We'll see if she can escape the clutches of that creature. She needs to roll a 4+ for escape. And she's failed, so she'll have to stay where she is. And she's going to bring out her katana and start hacking. All right, Hana is going to conduct melee combat. She is 3+. She's going to be using her Wanderer's katana. She has a combat level of 2. So we'll have her roll 2 dice. And she's got 2 hits, one of which is a critical hit. All right, let's see the damage that she can do with this. All right, here is the roll. This is the critical hit. Creature has a health of 4. She's rolled a 4, and she's cut that tentacle right in half. And that's going to end the battle. She's going to gain 30 XP. All right, that was a great first combat for the posse. Outstanding. All right, we're going to catch our breath now, and then I'm going to see how we're doing on XP. All right, following that first battle, we've got Sister Juniper Hale. She has $350 and 100 XP. Silas Barrow has 155 XP, and Hana Okabe has 30 XP. We're going to make our catch our breath rolls. Hana and Silas have both activated this turn, but Sister Hale has not. So we'll see what we've got for our healing and catching our breath. All right, we're going to begin with Silas Barrow. He activated, so he's going to be entitled to a D3 of healing. He rolls a 3, and that is going to fully heal him of his 3 wounds. That is excellent. Next up is Hana Okabe. She will get a D3 worth of healing as well. She rolls a 1, and that's just enough to heal her. She has 2 grit. Sister Hale has not activated, so she has the choice of either a D6 worth of healing or a grit token. And she has 2 wounds. I think we'll take the grit token. I think that would make better sense. So we'll give her her second grit token. She's going to keep the 2 wounds for the time being. Now we get to get our rewards, and each hero is going to be able to get a loot card. So we'll shuffle our loot deck up, and we're going to give 1 to each of the heroes. 1 for Silas, 1 for Hana, and 1 for Sister Hale. We'll see what Silas comes up with. Silas gets gold bars, 20 XP, and $250. All right. Hana gets gold nuggets, 20 XP, and D6 times $50. All right, let's make a roll for her. See how much she finds. She rolls a 6. That's $300 and 20 XP. Outstanding. And finally, we have Sister Hale. She gets a sack of gold dust, 20 XP, and $100. All right. All right, now we've got that demonic force card that is in play. And so if we match up with any demonic enemies, they're going to be at +1 combat. All right, we're going to continue on now with holding back the darkness. We'll make a roll. All right, here's our hold back the darkness roll. Roll is a 9, and we've passed that with flying colors, no problem. I've got to adjust our depth track for the posse, though. We have explored now 2 rooms, so we're down to 14 on the depth. We'll get started with our activations, beginning with Silas the Gunslinger. He rolls a 6 for movement, so we'll have him move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I think rather than looking through, he's going to do a little scavenging. So we'll have him do a scavenge roll in that rail switch. He has no successes, so his turn is going to end. We'll move on to Hana Okabe. She's going to make a roll for movement. And she rolls a 6. So we'll have her move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I think she's going to do a scavenge attempt as well. She has 1 6. That'll entitle her to 1 draw in the scavenge deck. So we'll shuffle up our scavenge deck and see what she gets. All right. She finds nothing here. 10 XP. Okay. So we'll place a scavenge token in the room, and we'll give her 10 XP. And now we'll activate Sister Hale. She's going to roll for movement. She rolls a 5, so we'll have her move 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and I think she'll end her turn there, and she's going to try a scavenge attempt. We can scavenge each of these rooms up to 2 with a party of 3. She has no success, so that is going to bring the round to a close. Now, she did gain back her 3 faith tokens, so I think since she is carrying some wounds, we're going to attempt to cast that faith healing spell. We'll spend 1 faith, and we'll see if she can cast this. This has a casting level of 6+. She's rolled a 7, so that's successful. and she's able to heal D3 wounds to herself or an adjacent hero. She'll do it to herself. We'll see if we can get rid of these wounds that she's carrying. She rolls a 2, and that's enough to get rid of the 2 health, the 2 wounds that she's currently carrying. She is now fully healed with 2 grit. She has 2 faith remaining for the rest of the turn. And that's going to bring the round to a close, and we will hold back the darkness. All right. The result is an 11, and we are good. We'll start out with the activation for Silas. He rolls a 5, and he's going to look down the passage, so let's see what he finds. And he finds a corner passage, no exploration token. And we'll have to roll a die to see which direction it is going to be going. A 1 to 3 will be to the left, and a 4 to 6 will be to the right. And it is a 1, so it is going to be bending to the left. Interesting. We're going to readjust our map. All right, we've placed the corner passage with a bend to the left. Now it's heading towards an area where we won't be able to put any more tiles, so I guess we're going to have to rule that this is going to be a dead-end passage. It's going to raise our, or I should say lower our depth from 13 down to 14 down to 13, but that's a dead end. We have to place the passage if we can, and in this case it doesn't have enough room to make another bend anywhere, so that's going to be a dead end, and we'll have to reverse course. Now, if this passage would have directly overlapped with another one, then we would have just simply reversed the direction, but I think in this case that makes sense. All right, next up is going to be Hana Okabe, and she'll roll for movement. She rolls a 4, so she's got 4 movement points. 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right, I think we'll have her do a scavenge roll. She has no successes, so that's going to bring her turn to a close. We'll move on to Sister Hale. She'll roll for movement. She's going to gain back all of her faith tokens. She rolls a 4, so we'll have her move 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. We'll keep a path open in case Silas is able to move through. All right, that is going to bring the round to a close. Our entire party is healed, so we're in good shape in those regards. So we're going to make a hold back the darkness roll. We've rolled a 3. That is a failure, and the darkness now creeps up to 3. And now we will activate in order, beginning with Silas the Gunslinger. Here's his movement roll. He rolls a 5, so he's got 5 movement points. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right, let's have him try a scavenge roll. Okay, here is the roll. He has no success. That'll end his activation. We'll move on to Hana Okabe. Here's her movement roll. She rolls a 6. So we'll have her move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And I think instead of having her look through the passage, we're going to have her attempt a scavenge roll. We haven't scavenged in that room yet. Here's the roll. She has no successes. Okay, that is going to end her turn. Now we will roll for Sister Hale. She rolls a 4. So we'll have her move 1, 2, 3, and 4. And I think there she will also attempt to scavenge. And she is successful. She has 1/6. Let's get the scavenge deck out. All right, I apologize. I had that out of frame. We're going to get our scavenge deck out, give that a shuffle, and see what Sister Hale finds in this webbed room. Okay. She gets a useful discovery. Pulling it from the gnarled hand of a dead body, you find something of value in this forsaken place. Draw a gear card and 10 XP. All right. And she finds outlaw armor. Gear, clothing, torso, face. -1 to agility, -1 initiative. Armor 3+. Requires strength 3 or higher to use. It's worth $1,200 and 3 anvils of weight. Oh boy, we'll have to think about this. Well, she has the strength to be able to use it. The problem is the -1 agility, she only has 1 agility. So that would put her down to 0. I don't think you can go down to 0. But I don't know if she would be able to use an item that would put her to 0. That's kind of an interesting dilemma. The -1 initiative I'm not worried about. She's already at 2, so it won't matter. She's on the low end of the totem pole in that regard. If she does put this on, she'll be carrying a total of 6 anvils of weight out of her total possible of 8. Well, I'm going to check the rules regarding that agility. I don't think it would make sense that she should be able to put it on if that would reduce her to 0. You can't go any lower than 1, but I'm going to check it out. Yeah, I can't find anything in the rules. It's kind of an unusual situation. Normally you wouldn't be reduced to 0 by putting on some type of clothing, but this is a very unusual type of situation. It's armor. I'm going to rule that she can't use it because I know that you can't have a level less than 1, but this would put it to 0. And I think she's just going to keep it. She's not going to wear it though. And maybe we can sell it back in town. Or I could give it to one of the other characters perhaps, but she'll keep it for right now. Okay, so that's going to bring the round to a close, and we will hold back the darkness for a new round. We've rolled an 8, so we are good. And we're going to continue on now with our activations, beginning with our gunslinger, Silas Barrow. We'll have Silas make a roll for movement. He rolls a 5. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. He reaches the doorway and he's going to take a look through. And he finds the track stop. It does have an advanced encounter. We'll get that out and we'll see if the advanced encounter will be active. All right, we're going to place an encounter token in that room. Move our depth down to 12. All right. Now we're going to make a roll and see if the advanced encounter is active. 1, 2, or 3, we're going to add it to whatever's on that exploration token. We rolled a 4, so we will not be having the advanced encounter. And now that completes the gunslinger's activation. We'll move on to Hana Okabe. All right, Hana is going to make a roll for movement. She rolls a 2. Well, I think she's just going to hold position until we figure out what's going on with that exploration token. So we'll move on to Sister Hale. She'll activate for movement. She rolls a 2, so we'll have her move in back of Silas. And that will bring us to the end of the round. No one is wounded. Sister Hale has 3 faith tokens. Hana Okabe has 1 fury token that she got when she executed that tentacle. All right, we'll switch to the exploration phase and we'll see what this exploration token is about. And we've got our first clue, 2 encounters, and this will have 1 door. All right. All right, so we've got 2 encounters, and we'll figure out where the door is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The door is going to be to the south. Now that we found our first clue, it says when the heroes find the first clue icon, they discover a small darkstone deposit. After resolving any encounters or enemies, each hero can make a Luck 5+ test and gain 1 darkstone shard for each success. In addition, they uncover that this cave system has been enlarged by the beasts, and it lies directly beneath the town. All right. All right, I've rearranged things a little bit, and we've got our 2 encounters we have to resolve. I'm going to place a darkstone in that room as a reminder to me to make sure that we do our luck test to see if we can find any darkstone after we're done resolving these encounters. And that is next. So we'll start out by shuffling these up and we'll resolve them one at a time. First one is Sign of the Dark Omen. All right. Sign of the Dark Omen. Encounter active omen. An icy wind blows through the chamber, flickering the candles set out on makeshift altars along the walls. Black feathers and skulls adorned with beads and painted markings are piled around the room. Dark tidings of things to come. All right. All heroes are going to have to make a Spirit 5+ test. If passed, gain 25 XP, and you may use 1 grit to cancel a growing dread card from the top of the stack, or as it is played this turn. If failed, add a growing dread card to the top of the stack. All right, so we need to try to pass these if possible. We'll begin with Sister Hale. She has a Spirit of 4. All right. Here is the roll. And she has failed. Well, I think Sister Hale is going to use a grit to re-roll that last dice roll. We'll give that a shot. We don't want to get growing dread cards if we don't have to. Okay, here's the roll. And she passed that one. She's got a 5, so we're good with her. All right, Hana Okabe has a Spirit of 2. She's going to use one of her potions, and that's going to give her a +2 to any skill for the rest of the turn. So she'll be able to roll 4 dice for this test. We'll see how that works. She's got a 6. She was able to pass. It's going to earn her 25 XP. Finally, we have Silas Barrow. He also has a Spirit of 2. So we'll see what he's going to be able to do with this. We'll roll 2 dice. Here's the roll. And he's done it. He's passed it. He's got a 6. So all of them passed the Sign of the Dark Omen, earning 25 XP. That's great. And our last encounter is Pestilence Flies. Encounter active plague omen. The buzzing from up ahead is nearly deafening as you get closer. Shining lights into the room. The air is thick with a mass of black flies, swarming around a large carcass. You begin to cough and choke as the disease-ridden insects buzz all around you, getting in your eyes, nose, and mouth. Yuck. Heroes on this map tile may not use grit, so that means that Silas and Hana will not be able to use grit, but Sister Hale will. She's not on that map tile. And it says every hero takes D3 corruption hits. Then roll a D6. On a roll of 5 or 6, Every hero may draw a loot card pulled from the rotting carcass. On a 1 or 2, what you thought was a carcass begins to move and stand. Ambush attack, draw a low threat card. These enemies are keyword undead and have +1 defense. Remains in play. Alright, so we have to start out with D3 corruption hits. And we'll start out with Silas. Cannot use any grit for this roll. So we'll find out how many corruption hits he's going to take. He's going to take 3, so he'll have to use 3 dice using his willpower to attempt to defend against them. He has a 4+ willpower. And he's defended 2, taking 1 corruption hit. All right. So Silas has 1 corruption. Next, we'll check Hana Okabe. She's also prohibited from using any grit. Here is the D3 roll. She's going to be taking 2 corruption hits. We'll see if she can defend these. She has a willpower of 4+. She's defended 1, and she will take 1 corruption hit. And we'll mark her accordingly. And finally, we have Sister Hale. See how many corruption hits she's going to take. She's going to take 1. All right, so we'll see if she can defend this. She has a willpower of 3+. She rolled a 2. So she's failed, and she is also going to gain a corruption hit, and we'll mark her. All right. And now the second part of the card. Roll a d6. On a 5 or 6, every hero can draw a loot card pulled from the rotting carcasses. On a roll of 1 or 2, what you thought was a carcass begins to move and stand. Ambush attack. Draw a low threat card. These enemies are keyword undead and have +1 defense. Remains in play. All right. So we'll make the roll and see what happens. The result is a 4, so that'll be nothing will happen. It's neither a 5 or 6 nor a 1 or 2. So this is going to remain in play. Heroes on the map tile cannot use grit. So we'll leave that out. And now we're going to make our check for the Darkstone room that we found. Each hero can make a luck 5+ test and gain that many Darkstone. We'll begin with Sister Hale. She has a luck of 3. She has no successes. We'll move on to Hana Okabe. She has a luck of 2. She has 2 successes, so she found 2 Darkstone. So we'll place 2 Darkstone onto her card. That's great. And finally, Silas Barrow. He has a luck of 4. So we'll have him roll 4 dice. And he's got 2 successes, so he's also going to gain 2 Darkstone. That's great. And I think this is a good opportunity for us to close out this video. Our heroes have done pretty well so far. They've managed to keep their sanity and health up to par. They've just taken a few corruption hits. So we're going to return in our next video, and this will be part 3 of The Well. Thanks for joining me at the Solo Gamers Club. This is Keith, wishing everyone a pleasant evening and happy gaming. Good night.